Yeah,
Great.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Thanks,
we're
Melissa.
recording. You're welcome.
All right, Martin, thank you so much for agreeing to do this for us. We're thrilled because of your experience and knowledge, and you've been extremely helpful to me answering all my questions, even if you are, 11 or 12 hours ahead of me, time zone wise. So it takes a little while, but I get my answers back. So thank you. And I guess you want to tell everybody else, though, what your background and your experience with frequency and a little bit about your story first.
Yeah. It's going back about 25 years when I had a crisis. I had chronic fatigue syndrome and sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I decided to do something about that. And fortunately, I was asked to go to a lecture of a naturopath. And that naturopath, I found out, was very skilled. And he was actually past chairman of 2 naturopathy colleges. So I was listening to the right person, and he seemed to be talking to me all through the lecture, even though there was about 50 people there, most of them older than me. But I said, yeah, I've got that. So as soon as the lecture finished, I went up, shook his hand, and I said, I've got some problems. And he looked in my eyes because he was also an iridologist teacher, TCM teacher, and many, many other things, too many to think about. So he looked in my eyes and he said, buddy, I know what's wrong with you. Get an appointment with my assistant over there and do it as soon as possible. I said, well, okay. So I did that. So then I learned that I had chronic fatigue syndrome caused by yeast fungus overgrowth, or Candida albicans. You're probably aware of that. Mm-hmm. So then I started having to energize my body and do cleansing things and eating correctly, sleeping correctly, and all the things you need to do to get well. So it was a learning curve for me. But the first energy device I come across was the mini trampoline, or the rebounder, you call it in America, I think. So I started doing that 20 minutes a day. And that truly, in weeks, energized me so fast. And then I did everything else. I did the full diet program. I've actually got the whole diet program from 25 years ago here with me today. So we were reading it earlier, and it's right up to date with today. So sadly he passed, but his teachings, he ended up being my mentor in naturopathy. So I went to lots of lectures, went to some of his courses. And then 12 years ago, a friend of mine, I called him one day and I said, just having a talk to him. And I could hardly hear him on the phone. He said, I've got an app first. So he had a huge swelling on his cheek. And he said, I'm going down to the Gold Coast. I cannot drive. I'm in so much pain. I'm going to see a machine called Pepimi. Anyone heard of Pepimi? No. So it's the first PEMF machine, PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field therapy. So that came out of the University of Hippocrates in Greece and was $85,000. So my friend had a 20-minute treatment on that. His swelling went down, which was an abscess, and he had no pain, got the money together, and within a week he purchased on the strength of that.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is before the PEMF devices hit the shores of America, which was only like probably 10 years ago. So this was pre-PEMF in the States. So the States found out about Pepimi, and they decided to make it a lot cheaper and portable. The one I bought for $20,000 weighs 24 kilos. So you may be aware of that one. It's a box about yay big, and it is heavy. But that gives out one frequency only, and you either slow it or you speed it up. If you speed it up, it's less of a kick. If you slow it, you can put it on a horse and the horse will move its joints. So they use it on horses in the States, race horses, long distance horses, sporting clubs use that technology. And now I see 20, 30 different models and makes of PEMF in the States. So it's widely used. So that was the second thing. And I'll just give you a testimonial about the PEMF because this really shocked me at the time. My son is now 26. When he was 14, he broke his collarbone here in a sporting accident. And it's about 1.5 inches long break, a triple break, a small piece, 1/4 inch, and the rest was hanging down. So as a mother or a father, especially a mother, you see that on your little baby hanging down when he comes home from school, crying, you almost faint. Is that correct? Because I almost did. So it's hanging down and you think you can get the little carving knife and just put a slice there, pull it out, and everything will grow back together in time. So when we took him to the hospital, you know, we saw the x-ray, but didn't need the x-ray, you could see it hanging down under the skin. The doctor said, no, we're not going to operate because it's too close to certain nerves and he's only 14, it will grow back in 6 to 8 weeks. So I rang up the importer of the MagnaPulse and I said, what can I do? I hear it's used in the sporting arena. He said, 1 minute a day and put plenty of towels over the shoulder. So put the towels over the shoulder. 1 minute a day, I said to my son, I'm at work, son, 1 minute a day. On the 10th day, I come home from work and it's a windy day. And my wife said, I said, where's Jeremy? She says, oh, he's down surfing on the 10th day. Can you believe that? So I'm horrified. So as soon as he come back, take your shirt off, had a look, the bone's hanging down and the new bone had grown straight across.
Wow.
Finished
Wow.
In 10 days. So imagine that. I remember that to the day I died. So I'm already sold that frequencies can help. Okay, and speedily. So then I started using on other soccer players, my son's friends, there was runners coming around, their mothers were coming around with their little darlings that they spend a lot of money on. And there's people with, you know, soccer mums and all that. Yeah. So I had all the soccer mums around doing all these therapy sessions. They were paying me as well. I didn't want the money, but they were giving me money. So things like stone bruising on the heel of on the bottom of a foot, takes a long time to heal. So things like this were healing in 5 to 15 minutes. And the sons are stamping the ground and their mum's going, what are you doing? You've been 3 months with that pain and it's just gone. So I was seeing some crazy things at that time. And then I moved on to, what was the next thing I bought? I bought two TENS machines just to play around with. And then I bought the True Rife, which was another expensive gadgetry, but very, very good. And then about 1 year ago, almost 1 year today, Stefano, you've all heard of Stefano. He's sitting over here next to me. He's trapped in the Philippines. He can't go home. hasn't seen his wife for 2 months.
Oh my.
So he's went to Europe and saw the healing, but he'd just been to our condominium here in Manila and had some Rife therapies and some foot baths. And he went straight over to Europe and saw this little healing gadget, purchased 2, one for him and the wife, told Evelyn and I here, you need to have a look at this. And then 3 days later, he said, you need to do more than look at this. You need to have a serious look at this. So we did. And Evelyn said, oh, well, I want one. I think we can market this. I said, well, okay. I thought we had the best machine on the planet. So next thing is, how do we get healing here? Stefano said, get 350 to 500 people into the system and the company will come here. And they came last June, the 6th and 7th, for their first presentation. And over 2 days, we had about 250, 270 people there. Half of them were doctors, by the way. And that started off the Philippines. So now in the Philippines, probably about 400 doctors hold Healies. And some have several, and they use them in their clinics. So that's, in a nutshell, that's a fast how we got to healing. So we're very, very happy that Healy is here because we use it daily, nightly. We share it all the time. When we can get out, this goes to other people more than us, because this is how we like to market it, put it on people's wrists. But of course, we have the analytics now as well. So that really rocks people's heads back.
And most people on here don't have any idea really what the Healy can do and what it does. So what have you, what are you using it for? What results have you seen?
Well, that could be a long, long seminar.
Oh. Okay, condense.
Okay, you might know about one of our, we were walking to the office because Healy has an office here. We were walking to the office one day and there's a little girl begging with her father. She's got one kidney dysfunctional, and they're either going to do a transplant or what's the other thing they do? They clean all the kidneys out, dialysis at 14. So we just said to them, can we put this little gadget on your daughter next time we come past, which was the next week on the Tuesday. So cut a long story short, we went there on the Tuesday, went early to the office, sat down beside her, put the Healy on her ankles, specific points on the kidney meridian and the bladder meridian. And her kidney, one kidney was working at 14%, 14% only. So then we left, we spent 1 hour there, we did half an energy program and half a kidney program, and then left. And 4 weeks later, we come back from Barcelona in Germany, and they were on the bridge, and I knew straight away. Evelyn went one way, I went over the bridge, and the girl had put weight on from her neck to her waist. So the torso had thickened out, and the eye bags, the black eye bags, had gone, and her face looked good. So I just polite, shook hands with the father, and said, how's your daughter? He goes, yeah, very good. I said, while I was away, did you have your daughter tested? He said, yes. I said, how is the kidney functioning now? Who would like to guess? Give me a figure.
I'm the only one on not mute.
Okay.
So I'm the one guessing. It was fine, right?
Yeah,
No?
but what percentage was the functionality?
Completely healed.
64%.
Okay.
So she's not going to need anything. So that's held for 4 weeks. No more therapy. Just 1 hour.
That's pretty amazing. Did you know where to put it? Like, where did you use the wrists, or did you put it somewhere else?
No, I put it on the kidney meridian on the inside of the left ankle, and on the right ankle, on the outside ankle, is the bladder meridian. So because I've got some charts of traditional Chinese medicine and know that you can open up the meridians of the organ systems, I just took a punt that would help her. And it did. Right. But we have another story which is as amazing. Evelyn was there with me. We were 14 hours outside of Manila on a bus, and we did presentations for all day. So 2 sets of presentations with a group of town north of Manila. And at 10 o'clock at night, we were supposed to get on the bus, come back to Manila and travel overnight at 11. But this pastor, an ex-doctor and a businessman, said, can you come to one more house? They wanted to come today, but they're paralyzed. I said, what? paralyzed. Paralyzed from the waist down. That's bladder and penis also. So it's decatheter, tube, bladder fills, empties. But not all empty, it only overflows because there's nothing working. Okay, could you imagine that? He's skinny. He was there since last June. The doctors say it's his prostate. He's 59 years old. His upper body is perfect. His skin, hair, eyes, perfectly white. He's just got muscle wastage because he's been in bed June, July, August, September, October we got there. So 5 months bedridden. He drinks his water, 2.5 liters a day, alkaline water. He has his 3 meals. The family look after him really well. Cannot move. So I did the same thing. Firstly, I put them on the wrists, and then after 5 minutes, something told me to put them on the ankles. I don't know what it was. Late at night, tired, I just put them on the ankles, same position. He had no feeling on his toes, ankles. You pinch him, you slap him, you squeeze him, nothing. Within 20 minutes, his toes started moving. So I get Evelyn and his wife to check his body. So from his feet coming up, it was resonating up, and within 52 minutes, he's unparalyzed.
That's insane.
And people are crying behind us, putting pillows over their eyes, saying words like, "That's miraculous." And there was a doctor there who's a pastor. She actually knows the president of the country very, very well. And she said, that's unbelievable. So that guy is still unparalyzed today. He's had no more therapy since. He had 2 more therapy sessions that day, that night, and then we left about 4 o'clock in the morning for the first bus. So Evelyn and the wife did the next 2 because I had another call to New Zealand at 12 o'clock at night, which is...
You guys working pretty hard around the clock there, it sounds like.
Yeah, but I mean, geez, it's incredible what happens with the Healy, or what the body's capable of doing if you give it the energy. And that's what it's all about, is the Healy has artificial intelligence or quantum processor inside, which as soon as you hook it up to yourself, or not even hook up to yourself, it can communicate with your cells of your body constantly and delivers this frequency that's being delivered now.
No, we can't see it because of the background.
Okay, so this frequency here is 4.5 hertz, and I've got 92% in my body of that frequency. So this will be almost the end of that frequency, and then another one will come. So this particular program here has about 500 frequencies on it, but only my body cells know what it requires from the menu. The Healy is not delivering to me. I'm taking from the Healy program what I want, not what my brain says, what my cells say. They override you. Like, you know about kinesiology?
A little bit.
Yeah. So it's like kinetic energy. It's communicating and asking exactly. So if I put a program on and it switched off halfway through the program, it could be one of 2 things. Either the batteries run out, or my body has said, that's enough of the frequencies on that program. Thank you very much. I'm nourished. Okay?
Are there any contraindications?
Of course, there has to be with everything.
So, I'm still listening. So.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Okay, so the contraindications are in the back office and in the manual. So everyone needs to read those. I ask you to read those. But if you're a manufacturer, think like this. If you're a manufacturer and you make something that's totally safe, do you think you'd get it approved? No, especially in non-invasive technology that's going to be used on people. You need to have something this is what Marcus told me, who's the inventor from the company. He said, you need to have some things in there that you can submit to the authorities, because they will not believe you if there's no contra-introductions. Is that the right word?
Contraindications, right?
Contraindications. So,
right.
So obviously, pacemaker is one that they would choose. Pregnant women they would choose. People who have got really close to heart attack, heart disease. So these and young children, of course. That's what they would put in there.
You would not use this on someone that's had a heart attack or a stroke?
Well, you're recording me, so I wouldn't like to answer that. Okay. But let's put it this way. Marcus used this technology on his son when he was 4 years old. Okay? There are ladies who are actually using this while they're pregnant, but obviously not the month before and the first couple of months. So during, there are people, but obviously if you ask the company direct, they will say no.
Okay.
Obviously, because if something happens with that baby, who's going to get,
right?
If you're the practitioner, yeah, they'll go after you. So that's understandable. So we have to use common sense here. So if you've got a pacemaker, you know, we've asked the company, you know, would I be able to put them on the ankles instead of the wrists? They say yes, because it's a long way away. And the pacemaker is generally not even on. It only works when it's required. Is that correct? And it's run by battery. So your body kicks it in when it needs it.
Right. Okay.
So it works similar to a Healy, really.
Okay.
It's intelligent.
Can you explain how the Healy actually works?
Yeah. It delivers frequencies like a TENS machine. So what happens is all the programs are in Germany in the medical iCloud on the blockchain. This is very, very important because the frequency and the programs are all secured in a blockchain. It's very important to us. That was one of the first questions I asked because I was worried about hacking of frequencies. So you imagine I buy this Healy and then someone hacks into the frequency program, it's not going to do what it's meant to do. So it's stored safely. So you only bring one program down to your tablet or your phone, and then you bring it from your phone by Bluetooth to the Healy. That's the blue light on the Healy. So that takes only 22 seconds to deliver, maximum 40 seconds for the longest program to go from Germany to your phone to your Healy. Then your phone can switch off because people are asking about 5G questions all the time now. They weren't 2 months ago, but because of what's happening right now, 5G is in everyone's face because they're now realizing that it's dangerous. So we're going to be using 5G phones for quite a while, no doubt. So I can switch this tablet off, I can switch the internet off, I can switch the Bluetooth off and just have my Healy here and move my phones away 10 meters away. And this will finish the program out and deliver the frequencies because it's me talking to the AI in the Healy. This is only a visual on the tablet of the frequencies being delivered. So it's just a, you know, it's like a play story. It's a story of what's happening right now with you and the Healy. But it's not required. You just have to trust that the Healy is doing what it's meant to do because it only does what it's demanded to do by your body.
So then,
so if you're a Rife owner like myself, I've got preset programs. So when I put the bulbs in front of me or hold the wand or I do the foot bath or whatever, I set the program on my laptop and I do the time. This here is completely different because now it's not a preset program. It's the body taking from the menu of the frequencies that it requires. That is the difference. Plus these are different waves. These are square waves. They're not right waves. That doesn't mean to say that the company cannot add the right frequencies in the future. They can do that, no problem.
Okay.
So what's the next question? Is there any questions on that so far?
Yeah, Lisa, I don't know if you want to unmute and join in at any time with your questions, because Lisa,
Can I just get a glass of water, please?
you're on mute. Go right ahead while I'm talking. Lisa, yeah, there you go. Because I'm like, I could see, I ran to get my phone because I knew everyone had questions, and I'm like, so
just go like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
yeah, so I had a question. So for a lot of people that haven't had any experience with frequency medicine, can you kind of talk about some of the benefits that that just an average person could get from it? Maybe some of the programs that you feel like are especially beneficial, given the time that we're in right now.
Okay, when a new person purchases a Healy, the gold programs, the Nuno Nina, remember this name, Nuno Nina, you'll see it in your back office. You need to look him up on YouTube. He is the one who has the 144,000 programs and used them in all his clinics in Asia, Africa and Europe. So he met Marcus 10 or so years ago and they decided to work together because Marcus was working in the informational field through vibrational frequencies and Nuno Nina was working with direct frequencies. So the two met and the partnership is there now. We have an amazing partnership of two geniuses. Okay, so the gold programs are Nuno Nina's, and they're the ones that your body needs first to get used to. So it's pure energy, balance, care, release. These are about purifying your body, getting rid of some of the electrical smog, some of the toxins out, going to the toilet better, urinating better, having more power in the body, just getting yourself ready for the deeper programs. So 10 or 14 days later, the company sends you a new set of programs called Deep Cycle, which have been put together by another extraordinary gentleman. So those are deep tissue cleansing. So you don't use them straight away because it might affect you too fast. Okay. And then you get a choice of one more set of programs. That's if you come into Healy with the smallest package, which is called the gold package. So the gold package has about 27 programs inside 3 sets of main programs. Are you with me? So someone's throwing bales of hay around in the background.
oh,
And then, so
it's
you can
calling me.
choose, okay, so you can choose all the, another program set, say Meridians 2 or bioenergetics or pain, local stimulation. But the thing is, for new people, is the gold programs first. Do that for at least a week. It says it in the manual. Let's follow the manual, the instructions. I know people want to get into the chakras, they want to get into the meridians, they want to go to their kidneys, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, the eyes, the brain, learning, sports. They want to go into all these programs, but please start on the gold cycles. That's what the company recommend and we recommend, because you get, within 1 to 3 days, people get benefits like good sleep, going to the toilet better, more energy in the morning, all the common things that happens when you do a serious lifestyle change. So we know people who do 1 or 2 or 3 programs, the next day they're ringing us up and saying, wow, need to know more about this. because we spend the time with people to have at least 2 programs. When we put them on the wrist, we say, right, we put pure, we put release on. That's our common 2. And because we care and give them enough attention and time, it reciprocates back. This is just the common people. So sharing with your friends, your family. Any questions on that? So that's a gold set. You're muted, Michelle.
Martin.
Yes?
Oh,
Vanessa.
Yes, hello. I think she unmuted so I could ask a couple of questions. Thank you so much for doing this for us today. But I wanted to know, I know you have to be careful of what you say for compliance. I'm a nurse, but I was wondering what kind of testimonials have you seen with blood sugar issues? And another question I have is, I know you said about the pacemakers and heart conditions, but what about people specifically with atrial fib or arrhythmias? Are they very much contraindicated? So those 2 questions primarily is what I have.
Yeah, I saw those questions earlier, so I was prepared for those. That's 3 questions in one, so we'll do the one first. So I've got a couple of friends, one in the US and one in the Philippines. One is Austrian, one is American. They're both 15-year veterans of diabetes and neuropathy. So in the Philippines, we put on the analytics, and it said 2 kidney programs. So one in the deep cycle, one in the meridians. It said spleen and pancreas, which is 1 program, and it said nervous system. So we run those 4 programs the first day in his resort. And then he's got his calculator for his diabetes, for his sugar levels, and it went down the first morning. So then the second day we went round, we did analytics. It said only 1 kidney program, pancreas and spleen and nerves. So we run those 3 programs, and then we left his resort, went home, went back in the morning, and he said, come to my office. He said, look at my sugar. So it had gone from 285 down to 125. Never been there for 15 years. Now that's extreme. I would think, personally, I would think that, and you would as a nurse. So he said, how do I buy one of these? So we purchased, we did the sale, we got him a Heliolistic. So he got 8 sets of programs, and he's carried on with that. He's now off his medication. He uses it every day. But before we left, this is also another question you've put in today. One of his daughter is 11 years old, and she is Facebook and music blind. She cannot cope with school. So they get her in a tutor as well. But the tutor, once they've done the lesson, they ask the daughter, what did you learn today? She knows nothing, 0. She cannot retain any information. So they asked in Filipino to Evelyn, they said, is there any programs that may help her? We said, sure, there's a whole program for learning. So I did 1 program, it's only 20 minutes. And then the next day, the tutor came around, and the tutor said, there's something strange with your daughter. She's more attentive today. So they started asking her questions. And the tutor was flabbergasted because she retained everything that happened with 1 go. Now today, I've just been reading some German time waiver practitioners. They're also having similar situations with their clients' children in Germany and around Europe. I've just got them today, so I've been reading them earlier. These are medical doctors who are time waiver clinicians. So it's common. That's how fast energy works. I know because I put my finger when I was 11 years old into electrical box and I got a shock straight away. So when you put the Healy on, how fast is it working? Straight away. So that's the diabetes one. The second one in America, it took him 3 weeks to get from the 280s to 300s down to under 100. You probably know the guy, Kenny Williams. He's been posting up his calculator. So he's gone off his medication in 3 weeks and he's struggling to get over 100 again. He has to eat pizza and spaghetti pasta to get it over the 100. So that's that one. I've got 2 friends in Australia. They're Maoris. They are very, very, very sick. One is under the heart failure team. They will not even do a heart transplant. She's that dangerous. So she purchased a Healy because she wants one. She's used my Rife machine and got benefits before, but I'm here, she's over there. So she purchased a Healy and she's okay right now. But the other gentleman is a 160 kilo Maori. He rang me out of breath, could hardly speak on the phone. He said, "Does that thing you've been telling me about really work? Can it help me?" I said, "Yes, I think it can. But of course, you're in a dangerous situation. You've just told me your heart is a lot worse than you ever thought." So he purchased. That guy now, he's never laid down for 2 years. I know because I've stayed in hotel rooms with him. He just slouches on the couch. So he can now lay down and sleep without thinking he's going to die. And he can walk and drive his BMW X5. I just went to see him 3 weeks ago in Australia, and I was amazed the change from last time I saw him. And he's been sick for many years. He's even been to that place where they do the stem cells in Ukraine. He spent $60,000 there. It was only temporary. It lasted about 6 months. So he's not going to go there again. He believes in the Healy.
So people who have atrial fibrillation, what about specifically with that? Because that is like epidemic proportion. You know, I mean, yeah. It's so bad now.
So what's that caused by, do you think?
Well, they really don't know. I mean, they have different ideas of what it could be. It could be electrical, it could be structural, but there's so many different ideas out there, but they really don't know. But then we also, you know, other people that have arrhythmias, like where their heart, you know, goes real fast, just all of a sudden it'll just go real fast. They have to go in and get, you know, either drugs or get cardioverted. So
yeah. So I've got some friends, another one in Australia. She has that for many years, but I haven't told her about Healy because she's a doctor shopper. She has the money, and I just cannot be dealing with her anymore. I've helped her enough, but this will be very, very simple. So everything is energy. So if anything's not working properly, like you go out to your garden, I'm going to be pretty crude here. If you go out to your garden and you're watering some plants and your son or daughter comes behind you and stands on the hose, what happens? There's less water comes out the end. So you turn around and then they laugh, they jump off, and then it goes fast. Correct? And that can, if there's enough pressure, it'll blow it out of your hands. So could that happen inside the body? Of course it can. A heart attack is a blockage, a stroke is a blockage. Why can't there be electrical blockages? So what does Healy do? It unblocks electrical challenges. So once the energy is back into the cells of organ systems and organs and the communications between, can they do their job better? That's what it's all about. Healing is about bringing the energy back to its cells so it can do its tasks better. So if there was men on the call here, if I said to you, you go out to your car in the morning, you turn the key and it doesn't start, what's the first thing you go for? Battery. You have a look inside your battery. Oh, there's no water. What are your batteries? Your battery is made up of cells. Our body's made of cells. If you don't have enough water, the right water, that's for us, all the battery in the car, we're not going to perform. So we need salty water because our blood's salty, our sweat is salty, our urine's salty. We need salty water, we need mineral water. So if we've got that, we've got a better electrical current in our body, better connectivity, and everything works better. Same in a car. So we put the water into the battery, we've charged it up overnight, it still doesn't work. Now what will it be? It'll be an electrical connection or your starter motor, which is also electrical. So we need to do the checks and balances on kidney, liver, heart, spleen, pancreas, heart. Every cell in the body needs to be energized, and it needs to have water, and it needs to have nutrition, sunlight, exercise, prayer, meditation, whatever you want to do. If you put all those things together, are you sick? I doubt it.
Is there an animal program? Will this work on animals too?
Yes, it does. It works on animals now because an animal is the same as us. It has heart, liver, spleen, pancreas, same. We got 4 legs, it has 4 legs. We got 2 ears, they have 2 ears. They've got the same meridian points as us, so as a horse. The Chinese know this, and yet the Westerners are still asking that question.
I know that there's other machines out there and they'll have like different software for humans and for animals. And I did hear how you said they're using it with, racehorses and stuff, but that's very good to know. So you would just hook the Healy on to just touch an animal, or?
Okay, this is what I know. When I was talking about racehorses, I was talking about the PEMF.
Yes.
Which has an energy field come off. So it has a field, it has an electromagnetic field. This is hooked up by wires, or it can do vibration delivery into the informational field, which is the Earth's informational field. That's Marcus's area of expertise. He is a world authority in that field. So we'll just talk about hooking up. So if a little dog had sore hips, what we'd do probably would just take a bit of the fluff off so you can put the little pads on the skin. And then we would energize that area or put Pure on or release, or we'd do a pain program. And they get better results than us. I know, because I used to have 2 little doggies in Australia, and I had little pulse mats, and I used to use the True Rife on my dogs. So I know it works, and it works quicker than on humans because they have no preconceived ideas of what this gadget is or what this therapy is. We have a problem.
Well, this is all very exciting. And I know you'll be answering some other questions. I'll let other people ask some questions because I'm very interested in the practitioner part also, what all that takes, the training and everything. But thank you so much, Martin.
Can I just give you some more clarification?
Yes.
Very soon, when the US opens, there is a program called Heal Advisor Coach App. So that app will be on subscription, but that app you can type in like TripAdvisor, and you put keywords in like diabetes 2, diabetes 3, or gout. They've got over 700 programs in there, which delivers to your phone or your tablet instantly a couple of pages. Most of it is to do with Healy frequency programs, but other additions too. So it is like unbelievable tool for any practitioner. Unbelievable. They've never had anything like it. You go in a hospital now, they spend about 2 hours working on how they should be treating you, and they have to ring up other hospitals or other specialists. We're going to have that on our phone right in front of us. Bang, 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 in our home. How's that?
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Now, are there certain qualifications to be a practitioner? Do you have to have any kind of like health background?
What is a practitioner? Someone who's practicing.
Okay, very good.
I'm practicing on myself.
Martin, can you talk about how that app is different
Yeah.
from if you purchase the Resonance and it does have the capability of scanning your body? How is that different from the Heal Advisor app?
Okay, the Heal Advisor app is just a reference app. So it's like your medical dictionary, okay? But it's digitized now. You don't have to go to the old books. So you go straight to your app, boom, and there's the answer. So, you know, Stefano's already got that here, so he can just look up anything and print that out. Okay, so if you own the Healy Resonance, that means you own all 121 programs that are available for purchase right now. And you also get another app called Heal Advisor Analyst. It's in your Google Play Store and your iStore. So you download that, and then you connect that with your Healy, and then all of a sudden this becomes a bioresonance scanner. So you put in your information, you've got your tablet or your phone, and then you pick the 15 sets of programs. You want to scan the 15 sets of program and your whole body. And then you press play. How long do you think it takes to scan your whole body and give you a readout?
20 seconds.
No, 40 seconds. But in South Korea, maybe 20 seconds because they got fast internet. Okay, so then you go to your phone and it says, it's got percentages, and it'll say gold program maybe 62%, Meridians 2, 56%, another set of programs, and it'll go in the order of importance that your body has told the Healy. So then what we do, we pick on the first 3 sets and rescan the person. So then it gives you, so on the gold set of programs, there's 7 sub-programs, and they are called Pure, Care, Balance, Being, Relax, Energy, and Release. So if it says do Pure, 54%, and the others less, you do the Pure, and then you might want to do one more off that gold program, and then move to another set of programs, the second priority, and do the number 1 priority. So 3 programs in a day is enough.
And,
That's
and
recommended.
it automatically shuts off when your body has had enough of that frequency?
The Healy will actually switch off, but I only know that's happened to 2 people. But they used it 10 times a day.
So you recommend a maximum of 3 programs a day?
Well, what the companies say is 3 programs. So I've listened to time waiver practitioners who use Healy also, and they say use a gold program in the morning, a deep cycle program at night, and something else in the day. So you might be going to the gym, you might want to put joints on, you might want to put any of the fitness programs on if you're doing some exercise. You might want to put energy if you're doing lawn mowing or You know, those jobs that men don't do. You know the ones. So yeah, I mean, you've got 121 programs. You'll never use them all in your lifetime because you'll get your favorites. You know, once your body feels good with a set of programs, you'll hardly dabble out of those. I've only used probably 1/4 of the programs since last June.
Can you talk a little bit, have you used it for any kind of pathogen work, any kind of bacteria,
yeah.
viruses, for example?
Yeah. So, okay, a couple of times here in the Philippines, sometimes it's not so hygienic in the cafes, especially the street side ones. But if you're hungry and it smells good, looks good, you eat. Okay. So an hour later, stomach hurts, starts swelling, you've got problems. So I go to Digestol on the Deep Cycle program, and then it's like World War II. For about half an hour in your stomach, it goes down and then it releases. That's how quick. No medication. That's me personally. I'm talking personally. So I've done that twice. Evelyn's done it a couple of times. I recommend that program for any food poisoning, stomach upsets. Now, can I move to another gentleman? Two gentlemen. We were called to a banker's house, multi-billionaire, to put analytics on him, and it come up with bacteria. It come up with gastrointestinal tract and nerves. So the guy, his head shook back. He found it quite unbelievable. He said, how come this is so accurate? I've just spent a fortune having tests and it says I've got H. pylori bacteria. You will know that. You'll know that disease. H. pylori, which has created acid reflux, gastrointestinal problems. And then he's worried about it because he's very, very rich and the banks are under pressure all around the world for whatever they've been doing wrong in the past. He's pretty stressed. So the Healy just picked it up. Exactly. And he had his German lady doctor with him by his side. Now she purchased straight away and she's probably sold to her colleagues 10 or 15 Healys now. She's actually in Germany right now on holiday. So that was that one. And then we got called to see by a bishop to see a brother who's a pastor. The hospital told him to get 1.2 million pesos ready because he was going to have angiogram and angiograph. And we put the Healy on him. He was belching, he was burping, he had a big stomach. He come up with bacteria, gastrointestinal, stress. So we did the 3 programs, laid him down inside the church. He fell asleep. I put the 3 programs on, finished. His face changed. His kids were there and they said, Dad looks so different in 2 hours. Do you know he hasn't gone back to the hospital or the doctor? He hasn't spent any money and he's fine. And Evelyn saw him before this happened, the COVID virus, and she could not recognize him. All of his stomach's gone. So he's listened to that day. His children bought 2 Healys, so he's been using the Healy. They've been using the Healy. One of the sons has been messaging me on Messenger when I was in Australia. So happy man. So there's nothing wrong with his heart. He's just getting a lot of acidity, which is giving him pain. I'd watch out for that if you're a nurse or a doctor, because it can be acid reflux. I've come across that more than once here, because H. pylori, when I use the True Rife baths, I've only found one person in the Philippines has not got H. pylori out of maybe 50 people.
Understand the SBA guidelines and providing the immediate assistance that small business owners need. especially for those who are limited English speaking. And we also understand that within the Asian
Okay.
Americans, there is many of them may not
Okay.
leopard skin.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Sorry about that.
Okay, it's okay. Did someone come in late?
Michelle, I just unmuted you.
Okay. Thank you. Because people are texting and asking tons of questions, and I fear we should just go through the questions that are in the comment section now also. But,
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have a question because I have a friend that has alopecia, and I was wondering if that can help her too, or if there's a program for that.
Yeah, there's hair programs, but alopecia maybe, because I had that when I was 19. The research I did many, many years later was that it was a parasite in the head.
Wow. So we can, there's a frequency.
That's also in the Rife. That's also in the Rife booklet. So hair loss is usually due to parasites of the blood, in the blood, too many.
And when, like, let's say, that's probably one of her predominant issues then? Would she know exactly what program to run, or will the Healy actually pick it up and say, this is what we need to do for your body first? Kind of thing.
Well, if she didn't have the analytics, just run the pure, the release on the gold cycle first. Don't attack the problem first. Get the body cleaned out first, because then you can start getting rid of the things that are hiding in tissue and causing problems. So I would say, yeah, do the gold cycle first, send some deeper cleansing from the deep cycle, and then put the hair program on, bacteria program on. Yeah.
Great.
That's how you got to deal. But again, you've still got to clean, you spring clean all of your organs, because these parasites live all over the body, and they're hard to kill, and we've got to kill them, and frequencies kill them. Even Rife wrote about that in the 1920s. He knew all the frequencies to kill all the pathogens in the day then. Viruses, bacteria, pathogens, worms, amoebas, all those things. And researchers all over the world since then, a few thousand of them, have been taking things out of people, putting them on slides, hitting them with frequencies, and been recording. This is why we've got these programs today. But they've had to be on the ground because Big Pharma, FDA, TGA.
And how about the viruses and flus? Cold, flus? Well, we kind of said viruses, right?
Yeah, viruses. I wish someone would tell me the truth on viruses, because some people are telling me, or quite a lot are saying, that it's just waste out of the cells. It's not even live.
I actually heard that the other day myself.
So I don't know whether that's true or not, but imagine if you could speed up detoxification using Rife. Could your mobile phone do that also? Could a cell tower do that? Could your smart meter do that? Could the 100,000 satellites in the Van Halen belt do that from above? Because that's what some people are saying, researchers are saying, that is creating this COVID virus. It's emptying their lungs, their cells fast, and the body can't cope, so the weak will not survive. And the weak can be 1 year old. They can be 5 years old. They can be 70, 80 years old.
Okay. Do you mind if we let people come in and ask questions?
Yeah, it's okay, fine.
So we unmuted you. So if you want to ask a question, you may ask a question.
You can actually unmute yourself. Everybody's muted, but if you need to ask a question, go ahead and unmute.
Hey,
Yeah.
Martin, it's Mary. How are you?
How are you, Mary?
You are just shining. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, I
Oh my
put some.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, of course, we're all so terribly excited about getting this device. I do have a question. I have a brother who, and you were just discussing it, and he's got reflux. He's also got horrible asthma. He was just diagnosed with celiac. I'm not asking you to give me all this advice, but you're saying start with the gold.
Yeah.
And-
Now, the answer to this is you need the Heal Advisor Coach app.
Yes. Okay.
Before we had that, we had a medical advisory board that you could send a ticket into, but it might take 1 to 2 weeks to get back. And some people are in need straight away. So they've developed this app. So, you know, some people in your area or in your group need to go on the auto ship or the subscription for that as soon as you can, because you can share the information.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a must, because now you don't have to wait, you can just type it in. So at the moment, I'm not qualified to answer those questions. I'm just telling you things that's happened
understand.
with us, that's all. That's all.
Yes. And then 2 more, and I promise I'll mute myself. Animal related. I have, and Jody and I were talking about this. I have a cat with cancer. Can you use this on cats, for starters? Have you heard?
Yeah.
And I'll do, yes?
Yes, you can, but again, you've got to use the Healy. You need to take the fur off because it's got to touch the skin. I've got hairy,
All right.
you know, hairy legs, and I had a big accident in Spain with a what do you call those things with the 2 wheels?
Yeah, the bicycle. Yes, dangerous.
Yeah. So, yeah, it almost broke my leg in 2. So I didn't go to hospital because I was on a Healy holiday with all the leaders. So I wanted to enjoy myself. So I grin and bear and put the Healy on at night, 2 pads. So I had to shave my leg and
Wow.
put the pads on. And it took down the inflammation so quick. And it was trying to go yellow and green and swollen.
Okay.
But just the Healy, it's amazing.
Wow. Okay. And I promise, last question. Again, it's animals in my life.
Yeah.
So I have
We're all animals.
We
That's what
are
it
all
is.
animals. They are just 4-legged. So I have a horse
We are.
who has had some treatments, and John knows we've done some, but I'd like to know, how would you apply it? Would you put the clips on the ears? He's got a leg that's healing from a torn suspensory. And I'll be quiet, I promise. I'll mute myself.
Okay, so I would use the patches. The 3M ECG patches. You could buy them, and they click onto these. And you see that? See where these clip on here? So Evelyn, could you show us an ECG patch? Evelyn will just show you. You can buy these in America, of course. The ECG pads. Just get us 1 set, hon. I'll just show you what they are. So you can stick those onto your horse, just shave, and then put 1 above the injury and 1 below, and put some frequencies in, regeneration, whatever. Why not? They'll love it. Evelyn's coming. So you see these little ECG pads? The sticky ones that they put on? They just go on there like that. So you can stick it on your head. Test, see if the brain's still there.
Actually, can that help with brain? Can you seriously do that?
Of course you can. You
So
can put it where you want. You own it.
how can it help? Would you do that though specifically for brain health?
Okay, today, I put 1 here, 1 here, and I run the energy program, and it's like a space gym. I just close my eyes, put energy on 50%. It's like a light show, but it's all white.
Okay, but is it
Incredible.
doing a reset? So I have a device that does a reset on the neural network of the brain. So you're going back to baseline.
Ah.
Whatever damage that you've done to the brain or any other part of the body, you
Yeah.
use it for 20 minutes, it does a reset, and then you're good.
They've got programs for that. They've got brain programs. In fact, Marcus is big on that. He's even got a program that's not available yet for PTSD.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a good question. So
So what
The
is
brain-
this doing? So that's what I'm kind of confused, and I apologize.
it's
for
okay. No, it's
not
okay.
getting it on the first round. So, you know, I would say maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, educated, maybe 4 or 5 on energy-based healing.
Yeah.
I work with a couple different devices, and then of course there's like how people do it, right? Like just
Yeah.
human. And but I'm confused as to what the technology is, because I know one that uses like PEMF to
Yeah.
you know, switch out the cells or to help with the detox and all that, and grounding
Mhm.
with earth's frequency. And then there's another one I have completely different that does a reset on the neural network, and but it's mostly based on like addictions, traumas, even food sensitivities, PTSD, things like that. So I'm not sure, like, where does this fit? And I'm confused. I need help.
All of that. If you are in the Healy resonance, I haven't even told you about the other scanner. There's another scanner where you take a selfie of yourself. It does the auric field. It comes up with the charts in percentages of all the colors. So there's 7 colors. And then the 3 low ones, low energy chakras, it then gives you a readout of your history of how you think, even generational, potentially.
So it goes like into the, so there's things like Akashic records, which some people look at that as woo-woo, which is fine. But then there's doctors that are talking about how the issues are in the tissues, right? And so what we're talking about is from generation to generation, we get
Yeah.
from our great grandparents and their great grandparents, their traumas, their issues, that, you know, now I'm using other devices to do a reset on all of that generational stuff.
Yes,
And you're saying that this does that.
yes, when you know how to work it.
And now you have one what?
Step by step, when you know how to work it fully. I don't know how to work it fully yet. It's going to take a while.
If
I
you're
don't
not
get the
talking,
time-
go
I-
on mute. Sorry.
What?
I hear background noise. I want to tell everybody, if you're not talking, go on mute.
Oh, you're
that's-
hearing my birds.
No,
No,
I don't
no,
hear your birds. I hear somebody in the background somewhere else.
Stefano, hang on, Stefano.
Oh, okay. As long as it's
Hang
you.
on. Whoa, can you?
And did I miss, did I miss what the cost is again? I saw it in pounds on the website, but I didn't see the cost.
It's in I don't know what it's going to be in the US, but it's the same price all over the world except for the VAT or GST. So in the US, I don't know, but let's talk about. See, I pay in Philippine pesos, so I know them off by heart. But in the US, it's probably going to be 500.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 600, 1,200 for the second. The third one's about 1,800.
So 600, 1,200, 1,800.
Yeah, and then the Healy Resonance has all the programs and the analytics of resonance. So that's 2,500 euros. So what's that, about 3,100 US? I'm not sure.
I'm not good at that. Sorry.
It's
When
okay.
we
You
open
can
the
look at.
US, we also have specialists too.
I have a question. Actually, a couple questions, if you don't mind. How are you?
Yeah, sure.
So, real quick, there were some questions in the chat about cases, if you've seen any cases with cancer. And then if you can go through some of those questions in the chat, and then also, when do you think that they will be available in the US? Like, what's the time frame?
Okay, the first thing is the timeline. That's up to Donald Trump. Simple as that.
Really?
Because he cannot open until he opens the country. So Germany are getting ready to open the US market today, but now that's been put back because of the global challenge we have. So when all the countries start opening up and they can do normal business, logistics, everything, then there'll be a date set and you'll find out probably in the next few weeks. And then they'll set a date for launch in the US, and then there'll be a roadshow tour. I believe in 15 cities, but at the moment, no one can travel. So that's the only way I can answer that, and that's how the company would answer that. So, okay.
Okay, real quick.
Let's go to the cancer thing. So you need to go and look up Nuno Nina, because Nuno Nina opened his clinics some 20 years ago in Europe for specifically these challenges. Okay, so he's used these frequency programs. He's an integrative specialist. So you need to look him up. He's got some beautiful videos there. He even explains in cartoon fashion how cancer develops, blah, blah, blah. And then this man's famous. Even the Portuguese soccer team and the wealthiest soccer player in the planet go to him, which is Ronaldo. So he's a very, very skilled person. And of course, Marcus is too. So that's where you need to look. So do you know anything about the cell membrane energy?
Yes, I do. Actually, I have a book called Voltage is Healing. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So I'm very familiar with that and cell potential.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so you know the center of the cells need to be around the -70. Good.
Yeah, I asked the questions for the benefit of the group. I'm already.
Oh, thank you.
With this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
To be honest with you, but I just wanted to ask for the rest of the group because there were some questions on that.
Yeah, okay, so what the Healy does, the frequencies will drive them from out of being healthy back into being healthy, homeostasis. So that's how it works simply. So, you know, when you put any program on, you're going to get value because you're charging some cells, because the cells that are connected to that program or asking for that frequency on the program are going to get the benefits and bring it from an unhealthy situation to a healthier. That's how it works simply. Okay.
Very nice. Another really quick follow-up question on the timeline. I know there's a fast track program, but since launch is being delayed, how is that going to impact the fast track program? I don't know if you would know anything about that.
So you're registered in the US?
I am already registered, yeah.
Yeah, in the US though?
Correct.
Okay, so the fast track won't start until USA starts. That's a given, because that was the same with every country.
Okay. And then also on the sinusoidal waves versus, or frequencies versus a square wave, can you touch on that?
I don't know. I don't know enough to talk about that to you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Okay. You can email, because you're a member, you can email technical support and you'll get the right answer. All technical things is best to go to them. And medical ones before was to go to the medical advisory board. But now we have that app, and you'll have that app probably on launch day. So, you know, all of our health and technical questions are at our fingertips. So, you know, we're only marketers, but we do our best, as you could. It's only, we've heard a lot of the questions before. and we've heard the company answer them, so we can answer them in safety. And I hope that I've done a good job to help you understand what the heal is about. That's all I'm trying to do, is give you the honest answers that I know of.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj. How do you say your name? Is it Rajai? Rajai?
Rajai. Rajai. Yeah.
Okay, Rajai.
Martin, my name is Tammy. Thank you so much for doing this call. I just had a couple questions. One, we were talking contraindications. Was curious if someone with epilepsy would be able to do any of the programs.
That's one that they say they can't.
Okay. And then how about tinnitus? Does this help with tinnitus?
Yeah, but you need, yes, it does. But you need to know a bit about traditional Chinese medicine, I believe, because I've actually got charts with the place acupuncture needles for tinnitus. So I would just put the pads there and there, put energy through and see what happens. It might not help the first time. You might need to do it for a week. 52 minutes a day for a week before the energy starts getting back and repairs. So I used to have tinnitus really bad 25 years ago, for many, many years. I have none now. But I've been using frequency machines, not for my tinnitus, because when you've had it so long, it doesn't even bother you anymore. But I don't have it anymore. So something I've done has worked. And what I've been using all types of frequency things. I've been putting them over my head, on my ear, and the whole body. So it's by energizing the cell will come back into homeostasis, into a healthy, and that's all we're doing. We're charging ourselves every day, every day, every day. Eventually, I'll be 21 again.
Okay, thank you for that. And then also, what about, I know Ryan had dealt with some, I don't know if it was dementia, Alzheimer's, if you could just speak to that as far as what this can do for brain fog, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, any of those.
Yeah, we've put the programs on with very little knowledge on people that have had strokes, mild strokes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, because that's big in the Philippines because it's a stressed country, very stressed. There's no handouts of money here. There's no social security. So every family is stressed. And if your children, and they have many, cannot provide for the parents, they get really worried and pretty sick because they're malnourished also. So we put the gold programs on, and certain things happen, like hands all of a sudden open that have been flawed for quite some time. And then you see the eye come up. I told you the story earlier about the guy who was paralyzed from the waist down. If 52 minutes of the energy program can do that, surely it can work on other things. And yes, it does. So again, it's coming back to unblocking, cleansing the body out, and lifting the energy of the cells to a healthy, and then everything starts working. So it's cleansing the body, unblocking, nourishing with the frequencies, and then you get balance of the body. That's holistic. That's how the body works. Cleanse, nourish, and balance will happen.
I have one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What about weight loss? Can it help?
Yeah. Wow.
Like addiction, weight loss. You know how like you're just or boredom.
There's a weight loss program, but it's not for losing weight. You might be underweight and you come up weight. You might be overweight and come down weight. Again, it's about cleansing your body so that your body can eliminate the waste and burn off what it needs to do. Get rid of the toxicity that's stopping the weight not going off. Changing your eating habits, because once you use the Healy for a while, you start to make different choices. We're actually going vegan this week because we're sick of eating meat because we feel sluggish. So we did about 10 months 2 years ago of non-stop vegetables and vegan, fruit and veggies mainly, and we felt fantastic. So now we feel a little bit sluggish, cooped up in a 2-bedroom condo with Stefano, Riston, Evelyn and I. There's 4 of us in here, but we can't get out. So, we want to get ourselves back in shape because we're in this health industry, we're in this wellness industry. We need to look the part, smell the part, eat the part, and do everything we need to do. Otherwise, I'm telling a lie, aren't I?
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, we can say thank you so much to you, Martin. Anyone?
Is it nearly beer time?
You may go have your beer. Yeah, I think we're done, but thank you so very much.
We've only got apple beer. They haven't got any left.
Oh, no.
Martin, thank you so much for your time. This was really informative.
Thank you.
Martin.
I thank you for inviting me. It's great fun.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you, Martin. Thank you so much.
Hey, you got some good looking ladies over there.
Hi, Evelyn.
Hey, Evelyn. I'm gonna
Oh, yeah, we
say,
want to see Evelyn.
you got to see Evelyn. Yeah.